Okay, hello everyone, thank you for coming, and today I'm going to share with you some techniques to bypass 2FA. Okay, basically these are the topics I'll go through today. And how to bypass 2FA? Well, you must obtain something user has. Generally, this will be either OTP or private keys, unless you found a way to disable 2FA on the targets. So if you classify 2FA by implementation, you can generally group them into time-based 2FA and key-based 2FA. Time-based 2FA involves the usage of one-time password, while the key-based 2FA involves public key cryptography. If time-based 2FA is compromised, both user and provider will suffer, because both of them share the same secret key. For key-based 2FA, both sides never share secrets. In this case, the secret is a private key. So compromising one side may not directly impact another side, unless an attacker knows what to do with the stolen private key, which is something I'm going to share with you today. So time-based 2FA requires provider to set up database. If the database gets hacked, all users in the database will suffer. Key-based 2FA does not require database. One-time password, as the name implies, it is the password that can only be used once. Therefore, theoretically, it's safe from replay attacks. You've probably seen OTP every day, such as when you're doing internet banking or when you log into some online account. You can find OTP in SMS or voicemail, software token, or hardware token. So the point is how to get somebody else OTP to bypass 2FA. We're digging for more. As you may have heard, there are two types of one-time password, the TOTP and HOTP. TOTP is time-based OTP. HOTP is also known as event-based OTP. HOTP also, they both using shared keys and don't really require internet connectivity to work. As highlighted in the red, the main differences between the two is the validity of the usable time frame. TOTP only valid for very short period of time, ranging from a few seconds to a few minutes, while HOTP is valid for unknown amount of time until the next user login. So if we put two algorithms side by side to show their workflow, we could then be able to see the differences more clearly. As you can see, on the left is TOTP, and on the right side is HOTP. TOTP will take local timestamp into token generation, whereas HOTP does not. HOTP merely uses a simple counter to generate token. That means every time a user authenticates to the site, the counter is incremented by 1. In both cases, the authentication server will involve a required database. Both user and server using the same method to generate and verify the OTP. There are quite a few ways to obtain OTP. Since we know how OTP is made, let's start to get some OTP to bypass 2FA. So if you're good at math, you can run a probability analysis to determine the next OTP. This technique is more applicable to HOTP because HOTP never expires until user login. As you all know, OTP is 6-digit code generated out of random. You may be wondering why is it always 6-digit but not 8-digit or 12-digit. It is true that the longer the PIN code, the harder it is for cracking. But 6-digit is generally safe for most applications. Hardware token might become more expensive if they have to display longer digits. Anyway, the probability is a study of randomness, and there were existing theorems on how to reduce such randomness, such as by using expanded graphs and so on. But so far, nobody has successfully cracked the formula to predict the next OTP. But I believe you may be the first one if you try harder. Again, this technique is only applicable to HOTP. Watch out for 3 invalid OTP attempts, because after you they will either ban you temporarily or you have to restart the whole login process again. If the application never blacklists your IP, you can continue to slowly brute force the HTTP until you hit the correct pin. The chances to get the right HTTP can be enhanced by implementing the probability analysis. In other words, you can just brute force the most potential 6-digit codes. So let's dive into more hardcore techniques to obtain the TOTP. Remember, TOTP will expire quickly. Okay, we'll recap the TOTP process. From the diagram, the workflow seems to open up to some potential security issues. We can see that it's all started up by user supplying credentials to the server. Then TOTP is generated concurrently at both sides using the shared secret key and current timestamp. After that, user provides the TOTP to the server. The server then verifies the TOTP to see if they match. Indeed, the culprit is in the shared secret key. Seeing both sides sharing exactly the same secret, and an attacker can just simply target either side. That is easier to compromise. Usually, the most vulnerable is the individual user. However, secret key isn't the only thing attacker can target to get the TOTP. So, if you manage to steal somebody's secret key, how do you use it to authenticate the server? Well, first you must use the stolen secret key to generate the TOTP first. The easiest way is to use any authenticator. Let it generate TOTP for you, then you use that token to authenticate the site. This demo will show you how to create arbitrary TOTP using a stolen secret key with the current timestamp. By using any authenticator you prefer, manually enter the stolen secret key and wait for the output. Other information such as labeler or issuer are not important because server only checks the secret key and the timestamp. As you can see from the output, no matter what email addresses I enter, as long as the secret key is the same, the OTP that come out will always remain the same. Now I'm going to use those arbitrary TOTP that we generated previously to authenticate the Gmail account. Please note the Gmail server will not notice anything wrong with the OTP and will just simply let us pass. As you can see, when a user authenticates the server using this corrupted TOTP, the authentication server is unable to detect any stolen secret key. So the 2FA protection is defeated if the user lost the secret key. How do we steal the secret key? By code leaks. When a QR codes will leak, they could be decoded almost immediately, and the secret will be exposed. Have you ever used any online QR generator to create QR codes? If you have, I hope you check the URL before you use it, because some of them have the history of blacklists. It is not recommended to use third-party generator to produce QR code that contains the sensitive information. What I'm referring to is those web services that takes the user inputs and then process them at the server end. If for some reason you must use them, the safer bet is to use a JavaScript version that only runs on the client browser. This demo will show you how Google API sends your secret key to the remote server. As you can see, the site doesn't even reinforce SSL. So everything that's sent across the network will in plain text. If someone eavesdrops on the network now, they can capture and see everything. So when implementing 2FA, it's a bad idea to generate QR codes using Google Charts. In this case, the remote server also can access your cookies. That means the user has not only lost the secret key to the remote server, but the entire browsing history. You should never show QR codes to anyone unless they are encrypted. Many people like to print their QR codes in their shirt, having cool haircuts, or even having QR code tattooed to their body. In most cases, the QR code is merely encoded and not encrypted. An attacker just has to figure out which type of QR code, and then they use the right decoder to decode. Therefore, you should not hide anything. You should not use QR code to hide any critical information. This demo will make you think twice about showing your personal QR code to people. That's your QR code. That's your secret key produced at that instance of time. So let's take a screenshot of the QR code. Now you can use any online barcode reader to decode it. Did you see the secret key? Do you see what I mean? The QR code that contains the secret key is not encrypted and can be decoded easily. So please keep your QR code safe, and if possible, always encrypt them. Software vulnerabilities often lead to secret key exposure. Let's explore these vulnerabilities. Many software tokens have their own security issues. If you're using web-based authenticator such as Malware, the secret keys are usually stored in local storage under the DOM structure. If the authenticator suffers from DOM-based process screening, the vulnerability can be used to extract secret key from the local storage. This is actually a new feature in the HTML5. Before that, browsers store many things in cookies. So if you can access cookie file of the target system, you search for secret key. This is another real-life example of the secret key leak due to vulnerability in software token. The free OTP authenticator did not keep the secret keys in a secure format. In this case, the secret keys can be directly extracted from the application file called tokens.xml. The extracted secret key is in binary encoded format. It must be first converted to hexadecimal strings before use. The same combination of secret key and the timestamp only generate the same 6-digit code. In this case, an attacker will attempt to hack the internal clock by setting it to a fixed timestamp. For instance, prior to supplying the TOTP to the remote server for two-factor authentications, an attacker will exploit the vulnerable NTP daemon, which is the time server and the remote server, and forcefully causing the internal clock to be set to specific time. This can force the remote server to produce the exact TOTP that the attacker wanted, thus allowing the attacker to achieve successful authentication. The good news is there is a way to bypass 2FA without stealing secret keys. If you can get the backup codes, you can log in the account without OTP, but just using the backup codes. So this is typically the file content of the backup codes for Gmail. 10 backup codes were generated each time by server, but attacker only needs one valid backup code to log in your account. The backup codes will behave like HOTP. Each 8-digit PIN code is only for one-time use and has no expiry date until you use it. The main issue is user often prints out their backup code somewhere or write it down somewhere. If physical access is not possible for you, then you can look out for where users save the backup codes on their computer system. Up2 is used for generating TOTP and HOTP. Many programs use Up2 to generate 2FA tokens. Very often, the source code has been written in scripting languages such as Bash, Python, Perl, Ruby. And these scripts are not encrypted by default and seldom get compiled into binaries. Once an attacker enters your system, they can simply look out for the secret keys in these scripts. You can try this command to any system, on any system which you can access. It will get you the files that contain the secret keys. So far, we have mentioned 3 most prominent areas for attacking OTP, such as by stealing the secret key, manipulating timestamp by exploiting the internal clock, hacking the database of the authentication server, and even bypass the 2FA using the backup code. Are there any other ways to capture OTP? Yes, there are. Let's explore these techniques. So this is a real-life example to get the TOTP by social engineering attacks. If you have a Gmail account, I believe you would have encountered similar text message before. If you ever replied to this SMS before, you might want to quickly change your account password now and check if the 2FA is still enabled on your account. How this attack works? Well, first, your Gmail address and mobile number was known to the attacker. An attacker will attempt to reset your Gmail password and trigger the OTP to be sent to your mobile phone. Then, they will SMS you something similar to the text in the slide and trick you into replying them. Once you reply them the OTP, they can quickly proceed to reset your password. Once an attacker again access to your email account, in this case Gmail, they can go to the security settings to disable the 2FA support. The social engineering attack technique just now requires an attacker to interact or communicate with the user. If an attacker knew you are using disposable number to receive 2FA token, they can just look up on the disposable number website for their answers. They don't have to interact with you. If you are using disposable number to receive 2FA notification, for your account safety, you should never tell anyone you did so. This is just one of the hundreds of providers out there offering free disposable numbers. I have found so many 2FA tokens in one page of the website. You can imagine how many millions of people in the world using disposable numbers every day to process their time-based 2FA. You can also capture OTP in SMS by sniffing the wireless signal using some specialized device, like the picture I showed on the left. After capturing, we need to crack the message encryption. Places you can capture OTP in the air are hotels, cafes, airports, shopping malls, and so on, because these are the places where many people try to get through the Wi-Fi captive portals. You can capture OTP from internet as well. The previous slide I just shown you, you can even get someone else OTP by visiting the disposable number website. The attacker can set up fake mobile tower using IMSI catcher. It can hijack and intercept phone signals, including both voice and text messages. It targets the phones on an older 2G system because they have no idea. They can't tell the difference between the real or fake tower. This method is easier to use in rural areas where 2G service is more common. It can also block the 3G and 4G signals, forcing the mobile phones nearby to switch to unsecure 2G service. The main duty for the SMS sender is to route SMS messages. When the SMS message is sent from a mobile phone, it will reach the SMS sender first. If an attacker manages to hack the SMS sender, they could have access to every text messages. You can get OTP using malware. For instance, Encoding Trojan that infects Android devices. Once this malware is installed on an Android device, it will intercept the codes that form the two-factor authentication. You then do at least 2 things. Communicate with the remote CNC server, secretly sending over sensitive info. It can also call forward your text or voice messages to the attacker, meaning if the OTP is sent by voicemail, it is also defenseless against this malware. This malware infection works because in some countries you can call forward your messages just by dialing the number. You can get some of the OTP by cloning the SIM card, but this method only works if you have physical access to someone's mobile phone. Okay, key-based 2FA. This type of 2FA involves public key cryptography. It accomplishes two critical functions: authentications and encryptions. To get the private keys to bypass 2FA, you must first locate the targets that support the key-based authentication. Most private keys are protected by passphrase, so after you got the private keys, the next thing to do is to crack it before you can use it. Where else can you get the private keys? Private keys can be found inside certificates. A certificate can contain private key as well, and many other information. Certificate can be stored and encrypted in physical 2FA devices. Sometimes by mistakes, users connect their USB tokens to the computer and allow them to be shared as network drives. And they also allow guest access. Therefore, sometimes during the test, when you mount these network drives, you might find some interesting certificates or key files by surprise. If you really couldn't get the passphrase, you can still try to extract some useful information from the cert. Let's say for a P12 cert, you can use OpenSSL or Key2 to extract some file info. Sometimes a simple keyword extracted from a protected cert can give you a bigger picture of the target external environment. For example, a domain name, so you know who to attack. So if the OTP and private keys were compromised through the software, what are the impacts? The web application that rely on free software token for 2FA support, if the OTP were compromised, so does the user account. The software vendor that lost the private key will end up being accused for distributing malware to users, because the stored private key can be used to sign malicious software. For the website owner, if the server's private key is compromised, an attacker can use it for web spoofing. Two major issues with the public key authentications are the passwordless authentication and unauthorized key abuse. On the left side of the screen, if you found this setting in your SSH config file, you need to rectify it immediately and enforce the password authentication. The screenshot on the right shows many entries in the authorized key file. Although having too many public key entries may not directly cause problems. However, in case in the future one of the public key has been illegally added, or one of the private key has been stolen, and you were tasked to remove the affected keys from all systems, will that be a hack tip for you? Are you able to detect what is abnormal and react to it quickly? Therefore, it is always recommended to keep the authorized key file neat and small. So, regarding the tool, it is best to understand the concepts how to work around with 2FA. The tool is only there to help you if you need it. If you know how things work, you can always bypass 2FA manually. In case you're interested, you can use the tool to access some common security issues related to 2FA. Private key leaks were commonly associated with issues that caused by older versions of Bash shell, cryptographic libraries, and OpenSSL. For the products that implemented this affected software, no doubt, they also suffer the same fate. You can also use the tool to check across this issue without having to do it manually. There are many ways to steal the private keys, even without using existing exploits. If a server is not hardened, you open up many loopholes for the attacker to access the system and download away the private keys. So I'm going to demonstrate the process of stealing the private keys, then using the rooter keys to access more accounts on the network. At this point, we don't have target yet, so we must first start by enumerating the network. Before the attack, you never know what's on the network. You can choose a few scanning modes to run depending on the network environment. Advanced mode is similar to firewall location scan. Web scan is required to find potential URL for heartbeat, sales shop. The hidden network requires RP scan, or you can choose triple mode, which will scan all by detect times. Auto mode is the easiest way to check everything. The process will start by network integration. Because we need to build up a target database first and to get the list of what hosts are running, what servers are up, and which ports are open, etc. Once you have the host information, you will launch each module against the targets in the database with the primary focus on getting the keys. Finally, we will use the root keys to perform key-based authentication. So these are just the commands to start the work. For the demonstration purpose, we just perform some quick network scan to get live hosts. In this case, the host use weak password, so you're able to brute force the SSH accounts. We then access the host and extract away both public keys and private keys. This tool will also grab along some critical info such as password and shadow files. After that, the root keys were used to authenticate other hosts on the network. As for the output, the tool also generates some very important outputs for manual verifications. In case you need to see the log, these are the commands. So, remember, a certificate contains keys. That's why we come to this subject. The client cert is a digital certificate used by client machine to make authenticated requests to a remote server. Nowadays, more and more SSL websites require users to get the client cert first before visiting the site. The traditional method for websites to authenticate a user is by verifying username and password using OTP, valid session, or read the cookies, or check the user's source IP. These are quite ineffective method, especially for users that are always on travels. Those web servers should have just implemented client-server authentications. Let's just imagine we found a P12 file during the test, and then we're going to analyze the file contents. The objective of this file analysis is to determine the best method to extract the public keys from the certificates. P12 is a binary format. Inside this certificate, you can find both public key and private key and some other information. Just like a regular compressed file, it is passphrase protected and also susceptible to password cracking. So just a simple demonstration of how to crack P12 file. There are two modes of cracking: dictionary attacks or pure brute force. Dictionary attacks depends on the quality of the word list. The brute force techniques should only be used if the dictionary attacks fail, because it will take longer time to crack. Okay, we found the passphrase. It's time to look into the info extracted from the cert. We also want to remove the passphrase because we don't want it to keep prompting users to enter the passphrase. So this is basically the summary of the entire process. You can see first, we already had analyzed the certificates. Then we also had cracked the passphrase. Now we will pass the cracked passphrase to another module in order for password removal. Let's continue with the demo. Now the password removal is in progress. Followed by the private key extractions. The tool will then extract, The tool will then extract the public key. And for the public key, the CNAME could be a clue to the target server. In this case, it shows 2FA access without the top level domain name. We have no idea whether it's .org, .com, or something else. This is a problem with many certificates nowadays, especially the SSL self-signed certificate. So to tackle this problem, the tool will enumerate against a list of top-level domain and find out the actual URL. Let's see that again. Okay, so we have found that the remote server is at 2FAassassin.com. To determine whether this is indeed the server that the client should authenticate to, we will grab the public key from the remote server and compare the fingerprints with the fingerprint of the private key we obtain. So in this case, the fingerprints for public key and private key match. It is time for client to authenticate the server. In case, this is just a be careful what happened. In case you didn't see it from the demo just now, from the public key, the CNAME is incomplete due to the missing top-level domain. So we have found the SSL website. Now, since this is a P12 client cert, meaning it should be used on a Windows system. So we need to prepare a Windows machine to install the client certificate and authenticate to the SSL server. So this is the SSL server, and this is the Windows client machine. We need to find out let's verify the SSL server IP. It's a 192 at the moment. So right now the client cert is not installed, so when you go to the SSL website, you get this message forbidden 403. Just to double check the client cert is not installed. So let's go to the attacker machine, put in that one line command. It will set up the Windows client machine for you. So the instructions script have been sent to Windows client machines, as you can see, and it will install it, the client cert, on your behalf. So when you go to the SSL website again, you'll notice the difference. So a pop-up windows appear. If you see this pop-up window, that means you got the client cert right. Let's check the certificates. Has been successfully installed. Okay, once you have access to any machines, maybe you can add a persistent backdoor before you leave. So next time you can come back anytime. There are two ways to do this. Either you can drop a reverse shell that can survive the system reboot, or you can add a public key to every account that have been accessed. The tool will use the 2FA assessing and generate the RSA keypad, and then add the public key to every account of every target in the database. Okay, to prove that it's working, log in as the new user, and then perform the public key authentication to all accounts. As you can see, the remote system does not prompt for password unless you go straight into the account, indicates a successful public key authentication has been established. So, some machines have bad file systems. If you found the SSH config file that is writable, you can disable the key-based authentication by setting the value to no. Doesn't matter how you have managed to exploit into a system. While you're at the meter printer sessions, you can quickly call postmortem to do a 2 FA attacks. I have written a post module which can help you to do this. Just a simple demonstration how to use postmortem. For example, once you're at the meter printer session, just run the tool. At time being, you will only look for the key files and credentials. Then you will copy the key files into 2FA accessing directory. So next time, when the 2FA accessing starts, it will automatically pick up the keys from the previous sessions to perform key-based authentication. So what if all the previous methods fail, but you still need to hack the networks? In that case, let's bring in the social engineering method. Let's say somehow you manage to steal the server key, the server certificate, and you also crack the server key, which means the private key of the server. Then you can create a phishing website using the server key to lure client system to download the malware. The phish site will appear identical to the original site, since they're having the exact same certificate and domain names. Your browser will never check for certificates and the domain name. It will only prompt you if the IP becomes different. It will not prompt you if the IP becomes different or even the site contents has changed. Since the victims are mostly client systems, this is essentially a client-side attack. So this is our plan. From the previous demonstrations, we know that Windows client will establish client-server authentication to SSL website. Since we have a server key, we can create a phishing site. We then perform the DNS spoofing to modify the A record of the DNS and force the domain name to be arbitrarily redirected to the phish site. The client will then visit the phish site without noticing any differences, and then they also happily download and run the software. Ended up getting reverse shell executed on the client machines.
Sir, hold on before you move on to your next slide. Root cause tradition, let's give him a round of applause. Thank you, sir. Thanks.
So, can we continue? I feel violence. So, okay, let's resume. Without DNS spoofing, there is no way to secretly redirect the client system to our phish website. By the way, this is one line command to prepare a phishing scenario like what we have planned. Okay, so this is the attacker machine. And this is our client machine. This is the DNS server we set up using DNS NAC. And this is the original SSL website which we are going to spoof. And this is the phishing site. So on the client machines, we need to verify what is the IP address of the SSL website. This is important because I'm going to show you the IP address has been changed by the DNS spoofing. So right now it's a 182. So we go to the attacker machines, we put in that one-line command, which I just showed you in the previous slide. Okay, this was setting up the phishing site for you. The instruction script right now has been sent to the phishing site. And as you see, the batch file and the rest of the instruction script is inside the phishing site now. As soon as you exit from the Metasploit console, 3 windows will pop up. The first window will run the reverse shell, the multi-listener handler. The second window will do the DNS spoofing, and the third will do the eavesdropping on the network to collect any sensitive info. So we go back to the client machine and we verify the SSL server. You see the IP address has changed to 196, it's no longer 182, but the user will never notice anything. The user still go to the SSL website, still got the same domain, the same certificate, nothing, didn't realize anything. The browser also didn't prompt user that the site content has been changed. This is just to show you again it's working. And right now, the user download the malicious file, posted on the phishing site, and immediately on the attacker machines, a system is born, a shell is born. So basically, the attacker had managed to spoof the user and also had gained access to the user system. Okay, the DNS spoofing is working, you can see the logs. So, to prevent the user feeling suspicious about a program that you post on phishing site, you can sign the program using stolen server certificates. Remember, you must crack the server key first before you use it to sign anything. There are a few tools out there which can allow you to do this without checking the legitimacy of your certificates. So many people ask me those questions, whether you can, when you're doing those activities, whether they can give you private keys. The answer is no for all questions, because the private keys will never leave the machine. So when you're doing the manual window text, you will not get private keys. If you do get, that means the network protocol will have a design flaw. So let's say you stay inside victim's network for quite some time, and I believe by then you have compromised many machines, and you also have obtained many sensitive files. How do you make sure no one will stop you the moment you're walking past the guardhouse? You can't just save all the hack files inside your USB drive and then you encrypt them, and then thinking that encryption is the ultimate solution. The guard can take away your USB drive, and it's only a matter of time for them to get the code order and then to encrypt your drive. So it's best that you save those files out securely while you are still staying inside the victim's environment. If you agree with me, then you may want to build a secret tunnel to send out the files using the stolen private keys. So for demonstration purpose, let's create a single chain SSH tunnel. Greater the chain value, longer the SSH tunnel. Let's say you can access the user 1 account, and then the user 1 can access the remote server by key-based authentication. So you just imagine the remote server is on the internet and there's no corporate firewall blocking the connections. It will only take one line command to create a tunnel. So to verify, we log into the user 1 and verify the creation status. The process is there. Let's verify the connection status on another end, which is the server on the internet. Let's see if the user 1 process exists. If it does, the tunnel is successfully built. Yes, the process user 1 exists. So, for recommendations, how do you protect private keys? Don't use the passwordless key-based authentication. Don't store passphrase on computer. Try not to use the same key or same password in multiple machines. Don't share your keys or password with anyone. And always encrypt your keys. How do you protect DNS server? Please use DNSSEC. It works by signing each DNS request with certified signature to ensure authenticity, preventing the fake requests. You can try to shorten the time to life, or you can regularly clean the DNS cache of the local machines. It is best that you remember some IP addresses, especially some very important IP addresses, or you can use the host file to hardcode some critical IP address, because the host file is always checked before the DNS record. Do not trust your browser, because your browser will never check the IP address changes. You will only validate the domain name and certificates. If you suspect your keys or certificate were stolen, please inform the CA to revoke the cert. Please remove the affected keys from the system, and also please check the SSH configuration. Any questions?
Questions, anyone? Alright, if you're that shy to ask a question, this happens here. So all you need to do is connect with Sir Maxwell here. Alright, you got his contact and everything else. If you do have a question, send him an email or something. Alright? Okay, good.
Thank you, Mr. Morales.